Okay, I'm going to call the regular monthly meeting of the Town Council for Westville to order. I'm going to start by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples, and that we all are treaty people, and we are continuing to work towards reconciliation. We understand that words are easy and action is not as easy, but we are deliberately taking action to work towards reconciliation as well. I want to also acknowledge the contributions, legacies, and histories of the African Nova Scotia people who've been here for over 400 years. With that, first of all, roll call. Down to my right, Councillor Fraser, Councillor Dunn, Recording Secretary Reid. To my left, Councillor McKinnon, Deputy Mayor McGregor, and Mayor White. I have a couple proclamations this month. May is May coming. All kinds of things happen in May. Organizations recognize a lot of things in May, and a couple of them we're going to deal with tonight. The first one being the Lyme Disease Awareness Month is May, and we will be flying the Lyme disease flag when appropriately when May comes. The proclamation reads as follows: whereas Lyme disease is a serious illness caused by the bite of the black-legged tick infected with bacterium, I will not even try to pronounce that word, excuse me, and it's a Latin word for a black-legged tick, obviously. Whereas black-legged ticks carry a variety of diseases or illnesses can now be found in all parts of Nova Scotia, and whereas awareness, education, and practicing preventive measures such as daily tick checks and proper tick removal can help reduce your chances of contracting tick-borne diseases. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Lenny White, on behalf of the town of Westville, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Lyme Disease Awareness Month, dated today, the 27th day of April 2026. I just signed it. Give it to the next one is the proclamation with regard to Gaelic Nova Scotia Month. By the way, I have it both in English and in Gaelic. And for the benefit of everybody, I'll read it in English as opposed to trying to read it in Gaelic. Whereas 2026 marks the 30th anniversary of Gaelic Nova Scotia Month, which is a time to embrace, honor, celebrate, and raise awareness of the language, culture, history, contributions, and achievements of Gaels across the province, and whereas Gaelic language and culture are integral components of the identity of Nova Scotia, and that Gaels represent one of the earliest non-Indigenous cultural groups to settle in Mi'kmaq, and whereas new generations of language learners and cultural champions continue to build upon the legacy of Gaelic Nova Scotia's tradition bearers, and whereas government commit to collaborating with Gaelic communities to support the growth of Gaelic Nova Scotia through opportunities for language acquisition, cultural awareness, and capacity building within communities to ensure Gaelic language and culture remain vibrant elements of the living linguistic and cultural landscape of Nova Scotia. Therefore, I, Lenny White, Mayor of the town of Westville, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Gaelic Nova Scotia Month in the town of Westville. I'll give you the Gaelic version as well, Christian. Didn't sign that one, so I couldn't read it. Before we go any further as well, before I get to the meat of the meeting, I just want to acknowledge on behalf of council and I'm sure residents in the town of Westville, our condolences to the family of Gary Rankin, former CAO of the town, who I know contributed a lot of hours and time to the town of Westville in his career, not only when it as CAO, but in other matters as well. And I want to pass on our sympathy to the family and heartfelt, sincere wishes regarding that. The passing of, suddenly passing, unexpected passing of Gary recently. Declaration of conflict of interest. Hearing and seeing none, move on to the additions, deletions, and or approval of the tentative agenda.
On the agenda this evening, regarding deletions, can we please postpone our review of our capital budget and our water utility operation budget for this evening? Just postponing that for additional meetings and conversations?
We can remove those from the meeting. That'd be 10A and B.
Yes,
If that's
please.
the wishes of your motion.
I would move. Did she move already? I can't tell. Did you move that?
I move to
Okay.
delete those
Okay,
two items.
I'll second that.
So the motion will be to accept the agenda as amended
Yeah.
with those deletions. Y'all ready for the question?
Question?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. I'm just going to say a quick comment on that. The reason for doing that is that council collectively decided that we need a little more input, a little more information to move on approving the budget formally. And we'll probably establish, so we don't have to wait another month, we'll probably call a special meeting to deal with the budget
Yeah.
within the next couple of weeks, once we have that information at hand. Thank you. Moving on then to the minutes of the regular council meeting of March 30th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, ready for the question?
Question?
Questions called, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Public hearing of April the 15th.
I move to approve the public hearing meeting minutes from April 15th, 2026.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, ready for the question?
Question?
Questions called, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Committee of the whole meeting of April the 20th.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting of April 20th, 2026.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, ready for the question?
Question?
Questions called, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Moving then to committee reports. General government, first, my report for the month. I apologize for being late in getting it out, but it is, I think, attached to your package this evening. And don't know if there's anything that I need to comment other than to say we had a very successful volunteer appreciation or volunteer recognition evening on Friday evening past. And that Reverend Mary Taylor was selected as our Westville representative as Volunteer of the Year. Becky Burns was selected as the Youth Volunteer of the Year. And we are certainly thankful for all the volunteers and all the work that they do throughout the year in town. And we look forward to honoring another group next year at the same time. I've noted in my report that, since CAO Scott Weirs has moved on, and we're still looking for a new CAO, and that is in action as we speak. The closing of applications happened on Friday past, on the 24th, and council will be going through those applications and determining next steps as far as interviews and so on. I will say, keep referring to Scott, although he's not with us in person. Well, he's here virtually. Now he joined us virtually from his new place. Scott is continuing on in his CAO capacity for the town of Westville, although he is not here on a daily basis. But I can tell you firsthand that he's working on a daily basis as the CAO town of Westville, because I get numerous calls, texts, and emails, and virtual meetings that Scott is attending on behalf of Westville, even although he's no longer in the community. So we appreciate that he's staying with us until we have a new CAO in place. Other than that, I'll leave my report as it's submitted. Deputy Mayor McGregor.
Thank you, Your Worship. This month I attended all of the regular meetings with the exception of Police Commission. I had a conflict with that date and time. I had a Glenhaven Board meeting, unfortunately at that exact same time, so I did attend the Glenhaven Board meeting. Don't have much to update on Glenhaven. Obviously still going through the governance piece there with the new build versus the existing facility, so we continue to work out some of the nuances there. Attended the public hearing and the PAC meeting as well as our committee of the whole. And tomorrow evening, I'll be attending the day of mourning for injured and killed workers tomorrow on behalf of your worship tomorrow evening down at, I believe it's at Trenton Park tomorrow at 6. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for doing that. It's a great ceremony every year, by the way, and I'm glad that we can participate in that. Moving on then, Councillor McKinnon.
All right, good evening, folks. My report for the month is quite quick. I did attend as many committee meetings as possible. I have 2 more committee meetings coming up this week. And as a council, we just continue to work on several big items that matter. And we are working hard on those behind the scenes and hoping we have some updates on them soon. And that's my report for the month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Dunn.
Good evening. I attended all meetings except the Police Commission because I was under the weather. I attended the Volunteer Awards ceremony. It was a really good turnout. There was a lot of people showed up for the awards. Congratulations to Mary Taylor and Frankie Burns for being selected Volunteers of the Year. I would like to thank Anna Malloy, Aslan Potter, Haley Taylor, Elisha Linthorne, and Lola from the Nova Scotia Community College Social Services class, Tim and Darlene Chislett, Gordy McIntosh, and Melanie Dash, our Recreation Coordinator, for the help cleaning Acadia Park and Megan's Place. It was a dirty, nasty day, but we got a pile of garbage out of there. And I'd also like to mention Mary Lou and Alfie White and family for cleaning up Foxbrook Road on their own. And they got a pile of garbage too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
It all helps.
Yes, thanks for that comment. Councillor Fraser.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also attended all committee meetings. Recreation Committee's on a bit of a hiatus until fall. Pardon me, I have been a little bit under the weather. Pictou County Partnership is in some busy times as well with the new budget that was passed, and they are also looking for a CAO, so we've had some additional meetings with the partnership going on as well. I'd like to mirror both the mayor and Councillor Dunn's comments on the volunteer ceremony. It was fantastic. The turnout was great. All of the nominees were, well deserving, and it was. And again, congratulations to Mary and Frankie. And next year, keep in mind your neighbors and your friends and your family that are out there working hard for Westville, and make sure you get them nominated. We like to see more people nominated. And just, if I may, I have to excuse myself this evening at about 6:45, so you will see me sneak out of here for a meeting I could not get out of, but I apologize for the disruption at that time. And that's it.
Thank you very much. I don't know, CAO Weirs, do you have any comments at this time?
Just a couple short things, Your Honor. Continue to work on the water situation for Westville. And so there are meetings, I think as you know, tomorrow that will hopefully move us forward a little bit on that. And the other thing that I've been up to lately is the expression of interest on the Diamond and Duff area. So reviewing the submissions that have come in and that sort of thing. Other than that, just kind of trying to keep things ticking over in the office so that when you do retain a new CAO, that there won't be a backlog of stuff that he or she needs to wade through.
Thank you very much, Scott. Once again, thank you for continuing to. I don't really know how you're doing it, because Scott has another job that he went to Ontario for, so he's working 2 jobs. I guess he's giving the new job a little bit of time, because I know the amount of time he's giving to us here in Westville. We appreciate it. And yeah, a couple big items. Scott referenced the water matter, and we're hoping that in the very near future we'll have some good news on water for the town of Westville, working collaboratively with the province on that, and hope that we'll get an outcome soon. As Scott says, we have a meeting actually coming up tomorrow to discuss that further. Okay, moving on then to Protective Services, Police Department and Fire Department.
I move
Sorry about that. I move to accept the protective services reports, including the police department and fire department, as attached.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Recreation, Culture, and Leisure Services, the coordinator report.
I'll move to accept the Recreation, Culture, and Leisure Services report as attached.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, you ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried.
I'll move to approve the Transportation and Environmental Health Services, including the Water Report, Public Works Report, Solid Waste Report, and the Westville Expansion Riders Report.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, you ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Environmental Development, Fire Inspection.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the environmental development and the fire inspection.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Danielle, you may not have to apologize for leaving early. Because at this rate,
We're almost.
we're doing quite well.
Well,
You may have a lot of time before your next meeting, hopefully.
get coffee.
Correspondence, and we did receive some correspondence. One is a petition from Pictou County Group in support of Viola's Place in New Glasgow and in support to the unhoused. I would accept a motion from council with regard to acknowledging acceptance of that petition.
I moved that we acknowledge acceptance of the petition regarding support for Viola's Place.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. We also received a letter from the municipality of Shelburne requesting a 5-year freeze on power rates and exploration of public ownership of Nova Scotia Power. I think appropriately a motion simply to accept that letter would be appropriate as well.
I would like to move to accept that letter from the municipality of Shelburne, please.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We have a second.
I will second that.
Moved and seconded. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. I'm just going to point out, and we'll convey this to Shelburne as well as other municipalities, and it's going to be coming up on the weekend at our spring conference, to let other municipalities know the protocol for getting things before the province. And one of them is have a resolution from your council, send it to the NSFM. The NSFM will then decide which appropriate advisory committee that the NSFM has established that the matter should go to, and then that advisory committee will either decide to move it forward to the province or not, and what action should be taken on it. It's to stop the, we get a lot of letters from
Frivolous,
other
yeah.
municipalities about very specific, some of them, this is more broad, I must say, this is province-wide issue, but some of them are very local issues that should not need going around the province to every municipality. There's 50 of us in the province, so.
And, Your Worship, just I guess a point of clarification, the acceptance of the correspondence isn't condoning or agreeing with the position
No,
of
correct.
the letters in any way. It's
Just said we got it.
acknowledging
Receipt.
Yeah.
Just received
We're
it.
acknowledging receipt of them, we're
Yeah.
not acknowledging or siding with action of any kind. Very good point, thanks for that, because I should have mentioned that after the first one on the petition. That indicated that this council received it and acknowledged receipt, basically. Like putting our stamp on it, received.
That's right.
So that's that one from Shelburne. The letter to the municipalities, this was a letter from the minister to all municipal units in the province outlining some of the changes that have taken effect or taking effect in the legislation in the MGA. And some of them are, these are, I will say, this is a very positive thing from the province with regard to municipalities. These are things that municipalities were looking for and asking for, and through the NSFM had campaigned for with the province. And you know, we get some things being downloaded from the province, we all complain about it. In this case, we actually had some gains, I think, anyway. One of them, interestingly enough, has to do with when you're in between CAOs, when you don't have a CAO. That you could actually have a committee structure, basically, to serve in that capacity. I don't think any of us want to do that. We're happy that we have Scott Weirs continuing on until we have a CAO in place, but it does allow for that. So that's one little thing. So we acknowledge that, so I think a motion once again just to acknowledge receipt of that would be appropriate.
I'll move to approve that we received the letter of 2 municipalities from Municipal Affairs providing an overview of the legislation amendments.
Moved and seconded, ready for the question.
Question?
Questions called, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. So moving on then, so we put in abeyance the, and I don't know whether CAO Weirs was on virtually with us when we approved the agenda, but just for your benefit, Mr. Weirs, we decided to postpone action on accepting the budget, operating capital and water utility until we had a further chance for council to look at them again. You know full well that our intention was to have done that at a previous meeting, and unfortunately we weren't able to do that time-wise, and so we would like an opportunity to do that within the next couple of weeks. We hope to do that, have a special meeting of council, and then to approve the budgets as presented. Okay, so going to move on then to 10C, the Westville Municipal Planning Strategy and Land Use Bylaw. This will be second reading. As you all remember, we had a couple steps involved in this. We had a public engagement session, which is not the mandated hearing, when we arrived at the conclusion of drafting the new land planning strategy and land use bylaws. And then we had the public hearing, which is mandated by the MGA. We had the public hearing then on last month.
Yeah,
at
March.
our planning
This
meeting.
month, 15th.
The 15th, sorry, this month, sorry. On the 15th, at PAC, the Advisory Committee, that was the first meeting after that. So this is second reading, and with second reading, it would mean that we were adopting, as presented, the new planning strategy and land use bylaws, and then it would be forwarded, and then it'll become, there's a waiting, Scott, chime in there and just give us the detail on, I know there is a bit of a period for anyone that might want to contest it or appeal, I should say. Correct?
Yeah, actually, on this item, there isn't. So on a development agreement, there would be
Okay.
a 15-day appeal process, but
Okay.
on this, there isn't actually an appeal
Okay.
process.
So,
So the public hearing serves as the kind of the
That was it.
public's opportunity to comment on the proposed
Okay.
changes.
okay,
And then, PAC recommended this to, the council go to a public hearing. You went to a public hearing on the 15th. You had a number of residents turn up. My recollection is that there were no dissenting comments or concerns raised by those present. We received no concerns or dissent by email or mail either before the public hearing. So I think it's appropriate for council to press on and approve the changes that council and the planning advisory committee worked so hard on. And then the requirement is to submit a copy to the minister for his or her information. But that's kind of the end of it. Once you've approved it, it now becomes then the municipal planning policy and land use bylaws. So there'll be some work to update our bylaws and all that, but for all intents and purposes, you've got a new planning policy and a new set of land use bylaws, which I think will modernize a bunch of the things that in that 2014 version were really out of date and didn't allow Westville to develop in a way that is very modern or effective.
Correct. Very good. So we have a resolution. I think everyone has the resolution before them. Someone wants to read and move that resolution. I would accept that.
Okay, I'll go ahead and, resolution regarding the municipal planning policy and land use bylaws. Whereas Westville Town Council requested that staff develop proposed changes to Westville's municipal planning policies and land use bylaws. And whereas over the last number of months, staff have been working closely with Westville's Planning Advisory Committee to propose and review changes that will modernize Westville's municipal planning policies and land use bylaws. And whereas Westville Planning Advisory Committee reviewed the proposed changes and found them to be satisfactory at its regular meeting on March 18th, 2026, and recommended that council hold a public hearing on the proposed changes on April 15th, 2026. And whereas Westville Town Council held a duly advertised public hearing on the proposed municipal planning policies and land use bylaw changes on April 15th, 2026, and there were no objections raised to the proposed changes, therefore be it resolved that council approves the proposed changes to Westville's municipal planning policies and land use bylaws. Be it further resolved that council directs staff to advise the Minister of Municipal Affairs of council's decision and to take appropriate steps to operationalize the changes to Westville's land use bylaws as soon as possible. Seconded?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question?
Questions called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. So we will have those in effect as soon as possible, as it says. And it, as we all know, a lot of work went into coming up with these new bylaws and land use strategy. And I thank once again the council for their part, as well as staff and the Planning Advisory Committee members as well. It's been a large number of hours going line by line almost through those documents. And it was a learning experience, I think, for all of us as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a little better grasp of some of these things and a realization of why it was necessary to change some of them to come up to date with what we want to see happen development-wise in Westville, and to make it easier for those things to happen when those developers come knocking on our door. Just as a quick aside, and for information purposes, speaking of developments, I will mention that just on Friday past, I signed on behalf of the town as well as the CAO the development agreement for Union Street with the Twin Rivers. So that will be moving forward soon. The development agreement has now been signed and will be registered with the province as well. So just a little information on that. Moving on then to the next item, which is the appointment of the fire inspector. We have a resolution there.
Yeah, I'll read that one. Whereas Westville Town Council has the authority to appoint qualified persons as fire inspectors within Westville, and whereas Tom Steele is a resident of the town of Westville with the appropriate training, skills, and experience to serve as a fire inspector, and whereas Mr. Steele has indicated a willingness to serve in the capacity of fire inspector within the town of Westville, therefore be it resolved that the town council appoints Tom Steele to the position of fire inspector within the town of Westville for a period of 3 years, ending December 31st, 2029. So moved.
I will second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question?
Questions called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Well, look at that. 6:30. Doing well. So we're going to move on to the final item on our agenda, and that's the always exciting and informative public engagement number on our agenda. So anyone that has anything to bring before council, now is your time. And once again, the simple procedure: come up to the podium, to the mic, say who you are, where you live, and state your question or comment, and we'll go from there. Maybe, Danielle, can you make sure the mic is there?
Oh, yeah.
That one there, so we can-
Harvey Martin, I live in West Street, Westville, a lifelong resident. My question would be, now that the CAO's position is vacant, that's like $100,000 a year, basically, cost of the town. Why isn't the town looking at collaborating with the other towns? It's obvious that Scott Weirs has another job, and you just get off the phone with him, and he's doing 2 jobs, working 2 jobs at once. Why couldn't the town collaborate with other towns to use that same service and save money? Thank you.
It was looked at. It was looked at.
Yeah.
It was looked at, and unfortunately, it was deemed that it could not, at this time, work. Not to say it won't in the future, at this point in time. That was the first point of our investigation, I should say, once we do. Very good point. Anything else?
Roger McKay, 2380 Church Street, Westville. I have a few questions, if I may. First of all, I'd like to thank Mayor and Council for what you're doing, and I know it's not an easy job, and people aren't always happy, but we'll move on. But my first question is with the water rate increases, and also there's a certain amount of water that we receive from the town of Glasgow. With these new developments starting, are we going to have enough water?
Yes.
You will have enough water from the town of Glasgow with all this development that's happening?
Currently,
Okay,
as we sit here today with the developments that we have on the books to happen, yes.
okay.
In the future, with more developments, no.
Well, that was my question. Will you?
No.
And I did hear a bit that you are looking at avenues of water,
Finding our own, yes.
and what takes place with that? What's the process that you're doing?
2 things we're doing. We're drilling wells. Have been drilling wells for a time now, exploring the possibility of finding drilled wells that would be sufficient for our needs. That's going on. And we're also in discussions, and I don't want to say a whole lot about that, unfortunately, because it's in a discussion stage with the province, seeking their assistance in a particular project that would be, if we're able to get that from the province, will.
It would be very
Being that we have
beneficial.
water,
Yeah,
more water than we'll ever need.
then we'd
in
know
the
what
town
to
of
do
Westville.
with.
Okay. Is there a specific spot within the town that you're drilling?
We're drilling primarily out in the, we had a
Hydrogeologist?
hydrogeologist, thank you, do an investigation in the surrounding area to determine where he felt the best opportunity was, narrowed it down after, several attempts and drilling in those spots. And so they're out in the, primarily they're in the county. They aren't in town.
Okay.
They're out in the surrounding county area, Alma and that particular area out there.
But
Okay,
that
so-
was after the studies.
So unfortunately, that's going to be a cost if that's, cost to the town if that happens.
there will be costs.
Very unfortunate.
There will
But
be costs involved in whatever solution we come up with, obviously.
Yep.
that's
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, definitely. But, the bottom line is that we know what the capacity is, what the amount is that New Glasgow has said they would give us. And to your point,
Yeah.
we know that we will bump our head on the allocation before too long with the development that's on the books to come. Right now, as I said, it's not an issue. And we hope that it will not prohibit us from moving forward on future developments, because we desperately need to do that. This is critical, we can't sugarcoat it. Having the water supply is critical to the future of the town of Westville.
And if I just may keep on the subject for a moment, with this stuff that you're looking at, is the province going to, is there money from the province or the federal government to help?
There's help available both provincially and federally, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah. As well as locally, we're hoping that we can find we can provide some of find ways to finance it in other ways as well. But certainly the province and the feds
Yeah. Yeah.
both have monies available for this type of thing.
Because as everybody knows at this table, I mean, our taxes are, and I don't think some of the residents can afford to pay anymore. Like I said, I know what it's like. And if I may ask another one, or
Yep, go ahead.
I just kind of briefly looked at the ridership, the bus. Is this being feasible for the town to continue, or
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like there's a lot?
we need to do a better job on that, no question.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the, you know, we haven't paid enough attention to it, we haven't done enough promoting of it, we haven't asked the province for a little more help with it. Yeah, I'm concerned about that personally myself,
Yeah.
as we all should be.
Yep.
And it's, as you know, it's on a pilot basis right now, so it's not,
Yeah.
you know, but we need to do a better job of getting our citizens to utilize that service and making them aware of it. I mean, it's vastly improved over what it was when we first started the pilot. As far as the frequency, you know, and the number of pickup sites and where it goes and so on. But we really, you know, I say we, as a town, we haven't done a good job in promoting that service, in my estimation. Take full responsibility for that.
We can do more, but it does help us greatly that when we're applying for grants for the town of Westville, that we can check the box for the very first question, that we do have a transportation
already
method,
helped in
which
that regard.
Westville hadn't had for a long time.
Very
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
Because most times when you're asking for grant money for development and so on, that's one of the first questions that, or ticks that you have to make in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you have transit.
Yes.
That alone has been
Yes,
help.
unfortunately, yes, it's one
Well,
of the.
we wanna keep it.
It's one of the questions though, but with low ridership, it's
No.
not doing the job that it should
No, we
do.
need to address that.
Yeah.
We would have to look at the expense. Right now with the pilot
Yeah.
project and stuff, we can kind
Yeah.
of be lax on it because it's not costing us. But you're right, when that's something that the town wants to keep, and then we have to look at what it's costing us, the ridership is really important. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more, if I may, and then I'll sit down. I was just from your last month's meeting, Dave Dignan had a question, and I'm reading there, discussion took place that not all tax rates in the area are equal, but may include extra fees. So what's that mean, that taxes aren't equal in every part of the town?
Not
I'm kind
town.
of-
No,
It wasn't
municipality.
referring to town.
Okay,
It was referring to other municipalities
Okay.
in the county.
the way I read that is,
And I'm sure you're aware of this, but the fact that we are an all-inclusive, our tax rate includes every service that we provide. We don't break it down. We
No.
don't have
Which I would like us to.
we don't have a residential tax rate, a commercial tax rate,
Yeah.
and then charge extra for fire hydrants, sidewalks,
Yeah.
garbage collection, or whatever. Some other areas in Pictou County, some other towns in Pictou County display their tax rate,
Yeah.
but they also add on these user fee things that aren't, you know, so people immediately say, you know, why are your taxes in Westville are so much higher than everywhere else?
no, and
They're not.
I understand that part, but it's just,
Yeah.
I guess,
So
I guess
that's
where
all.
it was saying, although some have well and septic, like some people in Westville have well and septic, but we're still paying the same tax.
That's right,
Everybody is.
that's right.
Yeah,
There's
okay,
only one tax rate in Westville,
yeah,
regardless of where you live.
okay, thank
Right.
you.
No problem. Thank you very much, Roger. Anything else anyone has? We, you know, I said this before, I'll say it again. We really appreciate public input. We really do. And I've said this many times, I'll say it one more time. There's 5 of us up here that are, you know, have this responsibility. We don't propose to know everything that's going on in town or everything that should be going on in town and on every item. So we really welcome public input, and it's important, and I appreciate the fact that, you know, we have a fairly large crowd tonight, you know, and so we appreciate that. And those people that are looking on stream, you know, on YouTube, you know, you can come out to the chamber and then you can have your input. We can't take questions from YouTube viewers, but we can from those that are here in person. Speaking of a person,
A nuisance. No, going back to Church Street. The last meeting, you scratched the information for the Highland Consolidate. You said our next meeting, you might have an update on school. I know you're tired of listening to
See,
that.
this is what happens when you come to every meeting, right?
Yeah.
And you actually read the minutes.
Oh, yeah?
Thank you very much for that, Dory. No, yeah, I can say that we have a proponent. We have someone that we are now working with, that we basically accepted their proposal. But I hesitate to say exactly the detail of who it is and what they're doing until we've had the signatures attached to the documents, the development agreement. And, you know, that will be coming back before the public, so the public will know what's going on. The plan is that, the plan that was there before is basically going to be taken on by someone else. There may be some nuances, changes in how they do it, but it's to develop the school, refurbish the school, and create apartments in the school building. That is the proposal. And we believe, Planning Advisory and Council, who they came before Planning Advisory, and there is a belief, I believe, that we believe these people, this company has the wherewithal and the ability to do the project they're saying they want to do. They've done it in other places, they're doing it in other places, very similar type projects of taking older buildings and refurbishing them and making them into apartment dwellings. And that's the company that we're currently going to be dealing with. I wish I could say more, but I don't want to say a whole lot more other than that. CAO Weirs, is that fair to say?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could, the only thing that I would add to what you said, which is all exactly the right thing, is that the expectation will be that the development agreement that council entered into with the Nova Scotia Cooperatives Council is exactly the same development agreement that the new
Right.
proponent would be expected to adhere to.
Right.
And so there'll be no substantive changes to the result. It's just a different player, same project, same school building. They may do it in a slightly different way, but the outcome will have to be the same because that's the development agreement travels with the land. And so they are going to be held to deliver the details of the development agreement.
Right, and they understand that. So just to go back to that one second, as you all know, I think that we talked about this before, the reason that the Nova Scotia Cooperative Council walked away from the project, if I can use those terms, and I don't mean it that harsh, they gave it due consideration and due thought and just felt that they were not able financially to continue with the project because of the concern about the Rob joists. The Rob joist being
The Rob joist
the type
joints.
of joist that was
Yeah.
steel beams that are in the school structure. And there was concern that some of them may be defective based on what was discovered back in the 1980s in the province. There was concern any provincially owned building that had these types of joists in it were inspected because there was concern that some of the welds were deficient in some of the joists. Those inspections were done throughout the province on provincially owned buildings. Unfortunately, for some reason, unbeknownst to anyone, the Highland Consolidated School did not make the list. They were not on the list to be inspected. Therefore, they were not on the list that they had Rob joists in them. When it was discovered by the cooperative engineers who were doing their due diligence on the structure of the building, when they saw that they were Rob joists, they immediately knew we need an inspection report on these. We need to know that they've been looked after and if needed to been remediated. They could not find any such report. After a lot of looking, a lot of time, months on end of CAO Weirs, he can attest to this, looking for those reports, they were not to be found. And then when we finally got the list, we realized they were not on the list. So the Cooperative Council was then struck with doing it on their own, having someone come in, look at them, determine if they were okay, and if they weren't okay, to fix them. And there was quite a wide range of possible financial implications to that. It could range anywhere from $200,000 to $1 million, as I recall, to do that. And they just did not have the financial capacity to be able to do that. So they had to make the hard decision, as much as they wanted this project to proceed, to say, we can't proceed under those terms. We did reach out to the province, I will say, to ask for their assistance in going in and having someone look at the joists, as they did with the other properties in the 1980s around the province, as we understand it, and remediating the ones that needed remediation. But we were told that the province could not do that at this point in time. So
They were concerned about precedent setting.
Yes.
Which they already set the precedent.
Right, that was my take.
In the 80s.
Yeah, the term was that we didn't want to set a precedent. Our comment to them, as the deputy says, is that the precedent was already set. Needless to say, we asked for, and we got a quick answer. We asked the province, we can't dilly-dally on this, we need to know where it stands. A hard no sometimes is better than a soft maybe, right? So we asked for that, we got it. Be careful what you ask for, right? We got a hard no.
Yeah.
So that brought us to looking for other people that would be interested in doing it. That brought us to the particular developer that we're talking about, that we're about to embark with. They are not concerned about the joists. I shouldn't say they're not concerned about it. They're not concerned about the cost implications. To them, it's a part of the project. You know, it's a cost to the business, doing the business. So they'll factor that in, and they will undertake to have them looked at, and if needed, fixed, and move on with developing the school. By the way, I should say, on other reports that engineers have done on the school, it was deemed to be structurally sound in every other way. And a value was placed on just stripping the building to the bare bones and what that asset would be worth. And it was, help me here, Mr. Weirs again,
Yeah, it was 12 months of construction time and about $4 million.
Yeah. So they determined that the asset with it stripped to the bare bones would be worth, you know, is equivalent to an asset of like $4 million. And so that was what this, the previous, like the Nova Scotia Council was excited about, because they could take that to CMHC and say, here's the asset we have, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so will the new people that are coming aboard. They'll be able to use that number as an asset for their banking, financing, and so on. So, yeah.
They were also going through some change themselves at that time,
Right.
where NSCC's CAO changed, and
Right.
the people that we had been working on the project.
Yeah, there were a
ended up
lot of
being
factors
different.
that came into
Yeah,
play.
it's just the way
And
it worked out, but it's still going to be okay.
It's gonna work out. We're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
It's just taking more time than any of us would want.
Yes.
And speaking of time, we're still waiting, as most of you know, we're still waiting for the province to award the tender on the construction and operation of the long-term care facility. The tender's closed at the end of November, and the province had to do their due diligence, we understand that, to go through the tenders to determine who they would award it to. But that was the end of November. Now we're the end of April. We're anxious to hear who's going to be doing it, both building it and operating it, so we can get on with that. That project, you know, to our way of thinking, it would be ideal to have that project, because the most logical site, the one that we proposed, is at the school site, right, on that 21 acres surrounding the school.
Yeah, and
So
that's
the
the one we did the
ideal si-
public engagement on, that
Yeah,
everybody,
public
the residents
engagement
picked.
Determined that's the
in
best.
Westville,
We
yeah.
sent that to the province, so everyone's aware of that. We don't make that decision.
No.
We don't make the decision on who gets the long-term care. We don't make the decision on the location. We can only suggest. But I believe, as I sit here, that the companies that have reached out to us that are in that business, if they get the tender, any of them, they would be going to that site. So ideally, it would be great to have both of those things construction-wise going on at the same time. Just makes a lot of sense for less interruption and so on, that they both be happening. And there needs to be a collaboration as well on, you know, parking and alignment of roads and all that sort of stuff. So ideally, it would be great to have both of those projects happening simultaneously.
And then we can fix that Main Street after.
Absolutely. That's the other point, yes. There's no point in us, we don't think, in fixing the issue on South Main that needs to be done paving-wise until those projects are well along their way. So that's, nobody even asked for that one, but that's an update. Anything else? By the way, you saw Councillor Fraser leave. She did say she had to leave for another meeting prior to the end of this one.
Dave Dignan, North Main Street. When Roger brought up the situation with water, I was wondering that, you're looking for water, and I'm hearing now that you're drilling wells and that, I mean, I knew that, but they're out in the county, which means we have to get the water from there into here, which is pipes and stuff like that, which is cost, and everything's expensive. Whereas we have a piping system now that comes from New Glasgow. With water being so essential for life, why is it not that you can talk to the province and say, look, you have Forbes Lake up there.
That's right.
What's the issue with building a larger lake up there? Another man-made lake up in that area? If they have to expropriate land, so be it. Water is crucial. We want to grow. He's
Right.
talking. Premier Houston's talking about a province becoming 2 million. Like, we need water. So why aren't we developing a huge water resource out there where you have the system? You may have to expand the treatment plant, maybe, if it's going to be using more water than that, but it's there, and you have all the piping that goes to all the towns and that now.
And as far as I'm aware, there's not a shortage with water in Forbes Lake as it is.
Okay, well, if there's not, and I mean, that's another thing, is that it's time for to talk with the government. If it's, they're not going to give us water.
We have,
Well,
we have.
yeah,
We've been
and so,
talking.
and what's
We have.
their issue then? Why are they saying that we can't get more if we're developing more? Where's the game plan with Premier Houston with this one? How are we going to grow if we don't have water?
So the plant, the pumping station and treatment and so on is owned by the town of New Glasgow.
That's fine.
It's the,
I think the government overrules them, though.
there are review boards and
The
things
board
in
does,
place.
the
Yeah.
Yeah.
The review board, whatever they happen to be called today, which I can never remember. But what I'm going to say to that is that, number one, piping, if we found wells out in the county nearby, we have piping running out there now. We're supplying water to all of that area now. As you know,
Northumberland.
to the school, parts in Alma, out beyond that, Salt Springs and so on. We've got pipes running out there. We could reverse those very easily if we were fortunate enough to find a supply of water in the ground,
And so then
well-wise.
how do those people get water then?
We would send it back out. That's not a problem. We can do both.
Okay.
But the other thing is that I'm going to ask people a little bit of patience, stand by. I'm hoping that, within the next couple of months, I'll say it even to that degree, we'll have I hope to have some positive news on there. And all I'm going to say to this, and you can, some of you can probably figure this out on your own, without me telling you. There's another body of water, a supply of water that exists around here that is 4 times the size of Forbes Lake and can supply water to this town, to the county, to our neighboring town for a long, long time.
It's
And that's
definitely
where
a
we're
top
looking.
priority for
That's
us.
what
We're
we're
working
looking
hard
at
on
now.
it.
That's our priority.
And we're trying to find the best deal and the best service for everybody in Westville.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
It just seems weird we're trying to get water.
It is weird.
I know, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Common sense sometimes is the last resort, right? But anyway,
It's not a flower that grows in everybody's garden.
And I guess it's fair to say, we don't need to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
We have the water agreement with New Glasgow. New Glasgow has been perfectly clear that they are not going to increase our capacity, which that's fine. They've left us with that. We were interveners with a rate hearing with New Glasgow. We did raise it, but it wasn't the issue at hand, so the review board didn't really discuss much on that point. But, and I've said this to council as well, I believe my position, we can ask, they can say no. I believe that it could be adjudicated through the review board if there's no, if there's no reason to withhold water due to shortages or capacity issues or not sure if Forbes, like, I haven't seen the documents myself, but barring there being any kind of, you know, shortage or capacity concerns, I can't see, to your point, why the province or how it would be allowed for them to, I'm choosing my words carefully here, because extortion is not the right word, but, you know, they're not giving us the capacity, you know.
If they have water, why would they not sell it?
There's exactly.
Unless they think they have a shortage.
Well,
If there's not a
one of their
shortage,
largest
then
customers may be offline in the next 10 years too, right? And, you know, so from an industrial standpoint.
And we buy from them and then sell to the county.
Yeah.
And the counties, I guess, is another point, just so we're on the topic.
Mhm.
The county capacity in Elma comes off of our overall capacity. So if we get, what is it, 46,
45,
whatever it
100?
is.
450,000.
450,000
So
per
as
day.
the county continues to expand and draw more capacity, it's actually coming off of our capacity, and the way that the agreement's written right now, I don't know that we have much, like, I don't know, like, we're gonna be going through a water rate study here, I think that'll be informative, you know, how we deal with it going forward. But there's two issues, it's getting more from one, and the other side is coming off of us.
Having said that, if they're getting it, it's on our total, then it'd be good to get the county on our side. Or it's like, we chop them off to have water for our town? You know, so I'm sure that they would be saying, we like the water coming to our county, so
That's
there should
right.
be one in our corner.
And we are trying to work
We will
to
do
be
that.
fair and to get the best.
There's lots
Westville.
of, yeah, lots of legs to this thing, and we're working, it's priority number one. Like, you know, as we're working with these developers and the new developments that are being proposed for town, we're gonna deal with one on an in-camera basis. As soon as we finish here, we're gonna go in camera. We're gonna deal with, you know, as some of you are aware, we put out a request for expression of interest on the Diamond Duff location where the basketball court is. We received replies to that. Council is going to look at those and make a determination of who we award that to and move forward on that development. That's just one, you know. We have the, as I mentioned earlier, we have the Union Street condominium project that's going to be coming online. You look out the window, you can see that there's 10 units coming over there within the next few months, between now and the end of July, so to speak. And we have other developments that are close to coming online as well in town. So we can't stop, we don't want to stop those, right? But as to go to Roger's point and the question that he raised, a valid one, there will be a time, and we know that, when we can't accept anymore. We'll have to say, Mr. Developer, we love your project, we'd love to see it happen, but until we increase our volume of water capacity, we can't entertain your project. And that's going to be a sad, sad day for this town.
Well,
if
hopefully
have to do that.
hopefully we'll have it sorted before that
So
happens.
our hope is, as you said, Councillor, our hope is to work, you know, we're working on both of these things simultaneously. The water one is reaching to the top of, you know, priority. We absolutely need to do that, and we are working on that daily, almost.
Will this water supply require a treatment plant as well?
Yes, yes,
And so we'll have to build a
yes,
treatment plant,
Yes.
which is
yeah.
millions of dollars as well.
Yeah. The water that we're talking about, we've been told by the experts that know water better than I only know how to drink it, is that the water that we're looking at, the source we're looking at, will require minimal treatment. It will require treatment, it all does, to be potable water, but it will require minimum, you know, it's not extremely.
It's
it
good
won't have to be-
quality already.
It won't have to be treated, it's good quality water as it comes out of the
Well water versus surface.
both. I hate to have to, I'd love to be able to just say everything, but I'm being cautious and on my word.
Because it's all still in negotiations and
want
we're
to-
not 100% on it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's that way with developments to a large degree as well.
Did you have another question, Harvey?
Yeah, I just want to find out, speaking of the same subject of the water, you're talking about the wells in the area, et cetera, that you're talking about another plant
Source.
B,
Source,
or
yeah.
whatever. Do you guys have an estimated cost for Plan A that you're working on versus Plan B?
Yeah.
And with the increased development coming into the town, which equates to increased tax dollars for basically nothing, right? Free money. Is there a plan with that to offset that cost, or are you just gonna jam the cost on the taxpayers now that they're at the ground?
Well, ideally, of course, you know, the math works out that when you have more development, when we spread it out, we spread the cost of operating the town amongst more people, then obviously what everybody's paying individually can come down. You know, well, are we going to get to that point next year? Are we going to get to that point in 5 years? Probably not.
And what's the number? I'd like to ask that.
Well, we have engineers working on that right now.
Yeah.
That's part of the
No,
process.
I don't mean the cost for the water.
Yeah.
Or that exploration, obviously you have engineers, and I totally
Right.
understand that. What's your number that you're gonna say, okay, we got extra revenue coming into the town, let's give the citizens a break?
Oh, I don't know that. I couldn't tell you that.
The water utility runs within the water utility itself, right? And that's the other thing as well. too.
100%,
Yeah.
that's not the question. My question was, you got two avenues you're going for water. I just asked for the cost. Do you have a rough idea? Mr. Mayor answered that question saying that you have engineers working on that, and that's totally fair. That's big projects.
It's
My
huge.
question was, at what point, with the extra revenue coming in town, with the projects that are already on the books that could be developed, extra tax dollars, when are the citizens of this town going to get a tax break? And say, I'm going to drop the, make it easy on people.
I guess that would, if we
Good
work
question.
on at our next special council meeting that we have where we review our budget, I don't think, like we could talk to our current CAO and say what would be the number we'd have to get to in order to do what you're asking. We could find that out.
That's why I said,
That's the question.
that's why I
Yeah.
said earlier,
But we don't know off the top of our heads. I don't know.
well, I said that earlier, we don't know all the answers, and we don't
No.
have all the information we need. But we are, part of the process of looking at this water, acquiring water, is to engage engineers in costing the project, and we're doing that now. We've got some information from the province. They were able to give us some information that already existed, and we're using that, and we're through our engineering services, we're looking at gaining those other costing factors. And so that's part of it. At what point do we reach a development level where the revenue, the new revenue generated enables us to decrease our taxes? I don't know that number. I don't know that time frame, to be honest. I couldn't even
We could-
hazard a guess, but it will happen. It will happen. Will it happen in the term of this council? Probably not. Probably not, because it's slow. The development occurs, and then the revenue starts coming in. It's a lagging process, right? And you have the expense of creating the development. One of the fortunate things is that infrastructure is throughout the town is not. I was going to say it's good. It's not good. It's there, right?
Yeah.
It's under the ground. We have a lot of places where development can happen. The water's running by those locations. A lot of towns don't have that ability. Like, they may have some land, but they'd have to put all of the new infrastructure in. We don't have to do that. Should it be replaced? Yeah, like, God, it'd be great to be able to replace every piece of infrastructure in this town. But, there's ways to do it, and it's a step-by-step process. And it's never lost on this council that we need to keep that ball moving. If we're ever going to get to that point where we can have the things and do those things, we need the revenue to do that. And with the only major source of revenue being taxes, right, residential and commercial, and the commercial is the big one. Firmly believe that increased residential development will lead to increased commercial development, which we desperately need. That's a better payback for us than residential. But we need that, and it'll come. It'll come. It's just taking time. Far more time than I would like to see. I'm very impatient. My father was the guy that had all the patience of Job. I don't have it. But
neither.
I've come to the realization, there's processes that you have to go through, right? I love this. Go ahead.
And I understand what you're saying, and you say there comes a time when you've got to say no, which is very unfortunate, because that means you're not open for business. I don't know how many times I sat in that chair and said, you know, we keep saying no to developers. We're not open for business.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
We are,
lots of things that play part in it,
Yeah.
but if you start
Yeah.
calling businesses
Yeah.
or development,
well, that's my
it's very
fear.
unfortunate, and I understand
And-
what you're up against,
Yeah,
but
and I'm glad you asked the question earlier, you know, about currently, because I understand, it's, you know, it gets back to me occasionally, that people have been told or feel we don't have the capacity right now for their development. Let it go out loud and clear. Members of the press, could you help me with this, please? We have the water capacity for the developments that we currently have scheduled to happen in the town of Westville. We haven't hit our head on that. Is that fair to say, CAO Weirs? Is he still there?
Yeah, so,
Yeah, thank you. You know, I want that message to go out loud and clear, that we're not at that stage yet, but to go to your point, and I made the point as well earlier, there will be a time, because we know the activity of development that's coming to us, that are talking to us, like, every day. Something new props up.
We've already had a lot this year, like a lot
So
more recently.
The possibility of
Yeah.
that happening with the 450, you know, gallons that we get now, 450,000 a day, we will be over that limit. So, but we're not there now. We're not there now. I'm looking directly at the guys from the press here.
But we have lots of potential.
And to those people watching on YouTube, spread the message, please. We're not at that point. And we're working diligently to never get to that point, hopefully, right? And that's all we can do right now.
Your worship, may I just pop in with a comment for a moment?
Yeah.
Like, in my initial report tonight, I mentioned that council's working on some big item matters, and when I said that, I was referring to water, policing, finding our new CAO. They're big. And another thing I meant to bring to our attention was I've had a few residents complain about people in our community that are continuing to feed the deer. And now that we have a bylaw in place that is saying that is no longer,
Right.
you're no longer legally allowed to do that because of the hazards it causes for people. At some point, if we could have a follow-up meeting or discussion about how we're going to enforce that, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Great.
We will put that on the agenda. One of the problems is having bylaw enforcement. You know, you can have all the bylaws you want, you need someone to enforce it.
Right.
And that's sort of we said that before we even enacted
We
it.
did, yeah.
But there's no point in having a deer bylaw, anti-feeding, if we can't enforce it. And
I'm just hoping that we can come up with like a creative idea of how we could do that.
we will,
Yeah.
we will.
I just
Mr. McKay?
I want to bring up one more item, and I know it's a very, very, very sore spot. We had a chance for development on Cowan Street, and we didn't do it. And everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, strip mining.
The pole out on Cowan Street, that was a big, big project that we could have had, and unfortunately, it's passed us. But I know it's a sore spot for certain people, but that was development that we let go.
So what about it? What about it?
What do you mean, what about?
So what's the point that you're trying to make?
We're talking about development.
Oh, that
We're
one.
talking about development of the
Yeah.
town. And there was a chance to develop.
Right.
I would say, I'll say this is me personally, not as, take my mayor hat off, just me personally, as a member of the community.
Thank God you can say take your hair
Yeah,
off.
I know, did that earlier. If we were to go, any development that comes has to be good for the town. And any kind of development. And I would echo this, say it again, we are definitely open for development in this town.
Yeah.
And we're open for all kinds of development. And, you know, we're not just getting interest in residential, you know, building houses or whatever. We're getting interest from a wide variety of areas with regard to development, and we're open to them. Would we accept them all? Probably not.
Right.
Right? But there has to be a universal collective good for the residents of the town of Westville and a great benefit to the town before we say yay to any development. That's my opinion. Like I
Right.
said, that's just me.
Right.
Having said that, if a big development does come before here, and council figures, oh, it's bad, the people in the town get to hear what it was?
Yes, we have to have public
Oh, yes, there'll be a
engagement.
hearing.
Yes, yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that process,
Unfavorable,
yeah,
no,
the rest of us would get.
that's why,
It is.
that's why we
Yeah.
have the public hearings, right? We
yeah.
have
That's why
input.
things go through or don't go through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a definite process. Harvey?
One question, derelict properties, you're talking about development, lure people in. What about the properties that are fallen down around here that nobody cares about?
Yeah.
Nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
So what we ask residents to do is to fill out the complaint forms that you can pick up at the town office, and then we have something to act on. So 2 of those have been done recently, and we've been able to move forward on them.
Two things there to that, yeah, as the councillor McKinnon says, there is an unsightly bylaw, and we do enforce that, but it's community driven. It's nobody sitting up here can issue the
We can't, yeah.
request for inspection. It has to come,
Same as the deer,
has to be a complaint.
it's like the same category
No.
as deer,
Not,
but it's a bylaw, so who enforces that bylaw?
no,
We have a building inspector enforcement in that, unsightly inspector. So that's how some of the, what the council is referring to, you know, a complaint was made, the complaint forms are downstairs, a citizen comes in, fills out the complaint form about a particular property, inspector goes, has a look at it. If he believes that it's unsightly, he comes with a recommendation for council how to proceed, whether to clean it up, whether to, you know, demolish, and we've done that. We've had demolitions of unsightly properties in the past number of years. So that's one part of the process. The other part is,
we had one within the last 6 months.
right.
Yeah.
The other part is to get to the point where we have some teeth that says you cannot leave a property vacant for, you know, X period of time. That you have to do something with that property. We're not there yet, but at some point in time, I'd like to see us get there. So there's different ways to approach it. By the way, the other thing that, now that you mentioned that, I'm delighted to see that there are a few properties in town, and I mean a few, but probably half a dozen that I can think of, that recently, that were pretty sorely looking properties and needing a lot of repair, that people have bought and are repairing and renovating. And they look spectacular, in my opinion, those ones that have been done to this point in time. So, you know, that's another whole development area that we've been missing, to let people know you can acquire these properties at very little cost. You can come in and develop them, you know, and turn them into usable properties. And, you know, ideally, we don't want to be tearing down buildings. We want to build up more. And so we don't want to lose the ones we currently have. We just want to see them in a condition that their people have adequate housing. So it's happening, and if you drive around town, you'll see various locations where this is happening, which is very encouraging, because that hasn't happened for some time.
Well,
And I
we
hope
were
that's a trend
community
that
at risk
continues.
for so long, yeah.
Hope that continues.
And hopefully, like, if you get the forms and you are able to go around and fill them out, anybody in the audience that would fill them out and put them in, most of the time they do remain anonymous, but they do give us a starting point that we can work on. So we need people to act on that.
Okay, you put that on us, drag your neighbor out. I mean,
Well, we can't do it as a council. That's correct.
well, I would. Do you guys not have Manny Withrow on retainer here, on a contract, Manny
Who?
Withrow? The building inspector.
Yeah.
Manny.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I can't.
Why, and you're paying him, why don't you just pay him a day's wage or a couple days' wage and send him around to look at these?
It's just the process.
Having us go out and fill out forms and take the time, like I'm sure the town guys that are driving around the trucks see them.
We need, the way that the bylaw is structured, and what the province says, is you need to be a complaint from citizens to initiate the investigation.
Citizen of the town?
Citizen of the town.
Yeah.
And then that's anonymous. The only time it would become public is if it was litigated in court. You know, if someone took it to court to fight the order that was given by council. That's the only time. It's never happened to my recollection. All right, so great public engagement, and we have one more question.
I just want to mention, these demolitions, half the time the town doesn't recover their money,
Right,
correct?
Right.
that's right.
That's the downfall of the demolitions? Like,
It's a double-edged sword.
yeah,
We put it on their tax bill, but if,
you'll never see it. Yeah.
you know. So, thank you to the loyal opposition for your questions and comments. You know, and I'm going to say this too, and this is, I'm going to brag on us a little bit as a council. Not every council in this province, not every council in this county permits or welcomes public engagement at their council meetings. So, you know, cut us a little slack for that, please. We
Any slack when I was up there.
we do need it. We do need it, and that's why we do it. I think they're missing the boat. Those councils around the province
I
and,
think there's one that
and
just-
that don't do it, don't allow it, they're missing the boat, really, seriously. Because we get a lot of great information from public engagement, I think, that we can use to go ahead and do things that we need to do as a council. So, yeah, I appreciate it. So with that, I'll accept a motion. So before we go into in camera, as I mentioned before, the reason, just so you know, and for the public knows, the reason for our in-camera meeting this evening will be to look at the request, the expression of interest that came in on the Diamond and Duff project. We'll make a decision on that. After we deliberate in camera, we'll come back out of in camera, and we will have a resolution to move forward on that project. So, motion to go in camera?
I'll move we go in camera.
I'll second it.
We are in camera.